Our next contest for the Better Photography Weekly Challenge is People at Work. Our judge and mentor is Mr. Prashant Nakwe. He's an independent professional storyteller with over 20 years of experience in photojournalism. He was also responsible for launching new editions of newspaper like Midday Pune edition, Times of India Goa edition, the Hindu Bombay edition, and also curated a photo exhibition for TOI Literature Festival. Nakwe was also involved in the management, ideating, creating visual content, production, as well as selection of photographs for India's biggest and most prestigious newspapers. All
We
right.
can we can start. Friends, the first of all who's going to participate for this People in Work competition, I wish them all the best and good luck. Give you 100% and your best. Uh, When talking too much, let's go straight to the presentation. We'll start first.
Yeah.
Friends, when we say people at work, I mean it's a vast subject. We cannot be categorized like ABC, XYZ, it's like that. But briefly, when we approach this subject, like people at work, you look around anywhere, you will see somebody is at work, including yourself. When you take pictures, you're also at work. The subject what you like, you shoot, that subject is also at work. So if you want to concentrate on particular subject or anything which you like and you wanted to approach, there are few brief things which if you can keep it in mind and approach accordingly, that may make your work easy. So while saying that, I will just categorize briefly. I mean, how will you approach the people at work? In just few 5 or 6 categories like that. I mean, you think of a mood first when you shoot your subject, when you approach your subject. You can see the subject's mood. I mean, whether you're shooting a street or you're shooting a celebrity or anything of your interest if you wanted to see, even if you're shooting a tree, like landscape, you see according to the season, summer, winter, monsoon, like that. Try to get the mood in that. The picture what you see here on screen, the reason of showing this picture, it's belong to one of the master photographer called Elliot Erwitt. He's a French photographer that was on based on the US. He's a part of a Magnum news agency, wire agency, one of the most prestigious photo agency in the world, which everybody knows now, those who are into profession. Elliot Erwitt is famous for shooting the pets, the pet owners. I mean, most of the pictures, more than 60% of his work, if you see, is based on the pet shots or the pet owner shots, pet owners and pets together. So this is one of the picture. The reason of showing this picture, that when I say mood, when you look at this picture, you suddenly get a smile on your face. Oh, what is this? That curiosity, it increases your curiosity. This picture increases your curiosity. It brings smile on your face. It's a kind of a subtle humor, where the dog and the dog owner is sitting on the parapet right next door of his home and just walking on the street. He shot this picture. The pet owner is at work. The reason of showing this picture is that black and white adds more drama to it actually. So nice to see the black and white. Wow. You can see the next picture. It belongs to the Indian photographer. He called Vinith Vora. You can check his Instagram account also, Vinith_Vora. That's there. He's basically shooting the street photography, the people at work. In the mood when you say, I mean, when you juxtapose the picture, how you see the picture, how do you approach your subject and how do you see the picture? This is one subtle example. There's one more picture. Is the man walking on the street with that, he may be a construction worker. And there's a person who's actually getting down from the tourist vehicle or transport vehicle. It's look like that person who's in a background is actually sitting on his head on that spot. It's look like that. So he juxtapose his subject like that, which creates a humor. It again creates a curiosity element. You give a second thought, you give a second look at the picture of what is this. So when you shoot the picture, when you shoot people at work, you can keep such things in mind. We'll see the similar next picture of this Vinith Vora, which is the next slide. He shot this picture in the US, in the New York. It's look like that smoke is coming out of the head of that person. It's look like that, which is not actually. The smoke is in the background sometimes. But he juxtaposed his frame like that. It's look like the smoke is coming from his head. Like, in his deep thinking or something like that. You just add that element which makes his frame little unusual and nice. So keep such things in mind when you try and create the mood. Try and think of the mood when you shoot the picture. There's the next slide which is shot by me, yours truly, of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Soon after the Pokhran blast, the BJP was on a high. They tried to cash in on for the coming election, and the electioners' rallies was free, and they are cashing in on the Pokhran blast. Vajpayee is known as a excellent orator, which he was. He was. And the blast portrait, that blast painting in the background, which actually adds to the force, the kind of persona Vajpayee is, the kind of force he has in his oratory. These two things correlate each other. So when you shoot pictures, people at work, you can think of the foreground and background element also. These are really basic things. But if you can think of these two things together, foreground, background, and if you can match, if you can correlate these two things, the picture will turn out little different, will look nice, like how it is in a Bajpayee picture. The Bajpayee's force when it up and the background. Fine, fair enough. We'll go to the next picture. It's a Bsf Soldiers, again shot by me. I shot this 4 years back at Delhi, and I was doing the story on the Camel Regiment of BSF. This is one of the oldest regiment in the Border Security Force. And the equation of this Border Security Force soldiers and the camels is unique. Is unique. This Camel Regiment is taking part in the 26th January parade every year. One of the oldest regiment right from the Republic is taking part. So this picture was trying to, this is one of the part of my picture story. It's trying to show the equation of the soldier and the camel which is riding in the parade. The camel is actually trying to give the kiss to the soldier, to the owner. Just try to show that. So this is again the mood. You try to get that mood when you shoot the picture, when you approach your subject. Second, while going ahead, the second thing which I want to show is a form. Form is very simple, like a basic, absolutely basic in the photography, like what you say, line, tones, textures, pattern. When you can't think of much, you can always play up with the forms. The forms which we have in a photography, like what I said, line, tones, textures. The picture what you see on the screen is shot by Joe Rosenthal, the iconic photographer, the master photographer. His work in the wall photography is amazing, outstanding. This one picture is an iconic picture where the US soldiers, they are hosting the US flag at Mount Suribachi, which is a part of, it is in Pacific Island of Iwo Jima, shot in the World War II. What is uniqueness in this picture? If you see the US flag pole, the direction of the US flag pole is little crosser. There's a conflict in this picture. Why the conflict is in picture? If you see the line of the flag pole, is they're trying to erect that pole on the Mount Suribachi. If the same pole is in vertical, straight, like what we see on the road when we walk down, when we see on a Republic Day or on the 15th August, you see the straight pole like everywhere. The straight line which shows the conflict is over. Nothing is there. The straight line or complete horizontal line, it shows the conflict is over. Here it shows the conflict is on. You just don't know what will happen the next. So that again creates a curiosity of the viewer. So this picture is beautiful, beautiful example of the conflict and the force. You can go to the next slide. The form, when I say lines, the first picture is an iconic, like the second one. Unfortunately, I don't know, or nor the Associated Press know who the photographer is behind this picture. When they acquired this picture from the photographer, I guess they must have forgot to take the credit. This picture was shot in 1976 in Montreal, and the picture is of Nadia Comensi. I guess you maybe know by now. Nadia Comensi is the first woman gymnast to score perfect 10 in uneven bar event in Summer Olympics. So this picture is she is actually dismounting from the bar. She's landing. And while landing, if you see the body posture, there are two lines of her dress and her body posture is perfectly shows the force, the perfect balance of the Nadia Komenzi and why she deserved the 10 points. This one picture summarizes everything. So again, this is the second best example of the from what I see and what I feel. So keep such things in mind. The basic observation is really important. While moving on to the next, the line example or the dot example. This is actually the example of the existence, the point of existence, like the man right in the center of the frame. It shows the existence. The frame is not dead. Just one small movement of the person walking is life of the picture, the pattern, the entire pattern of the frame. The point of existence it shows a life. The best example, friends, I mean, you can see if you see the well-known painter, know the Raza. The Raza's most of the painting is centric on the point of existence, is based on that. You can draw inspiration from this painting as well. So this is another example of Rui Palla. This is another picture what I wanted to show. The next one is of Rui Palla. Again, a good example of the form. When I say the line, tones, textures, patterns, you can see the texture here. You can see the beautiful lines here. Again, the person walking on this tram track at the fag end of the frame. It's adding the value, adding life to the frame. And those lines, the tram track, is actually living up to the picture. So the form is another one where you can actually make a good picture when you shoot people at work. Moving to the next, I mean, if you're shooting workers or any artist or anyone on a street or at home, you can show the gravity also of the situation, the mood around. The picture what you see on the screen here is by Sebastião Salgado, another master, the iconic photographer, the Brazilian photographer. He immortalized this gold mines where thousands and hundreds and thousands of workers they're working. The picture is shot at the Serra Pelda gold mine in Brazil, where actually the inhuman conditions the workers are working. He exposed that through his pictures. So this one picture is a part of that story. It shows the gravity of the situation. When I mean to say gravity, this is what the gravity I mean. You show the gravity about it. There's another frame you can see. Okay, this is shot by me. It's a very quiet, simple, straight frame, but there's a story behind it. There's a Century Mill, the iconic mill in the Worli. This is the last day on the closing of the mill. The access was restricted, but somehow I was lucky to get into it. The worker who worked there in this mill was uncertain, don't know what to do next. It was his last day and he was looking at his muster where he's going to sign. And the entire mill was defunct. Actually, that's one of the reasons why the mill was closed. And the property was another reason that they now it is converted into the multi-mall, I guess, New York, if I'm not wrong. There's a huge multi-story buildings here at this place. The worker who's uncertain of his future is writing the muster, is signing the muster on the last day of his work as the mill is going to close. So this shows the gravity. You can see the textile unit on the left hand side, where cobwebs around if you see it in a detail. It shows the gravity of the situation, the gravity of the worker's future. So this another element of the gravity. While coming up to the mood, the form, the gravity, you need to be alert, really alert and spontaneous when you shoot the picture. The picture what you see here on the screen is of Winston Churchill, the iconic political leader. And the person who shot the picture is also one of the finest 20th century photographers. He is known for his portraits. His name is Yusuf Kash. There's an excellent story behind this picture. Winston Churchill always seen with his cigar. In 99.99 photograph, if you see of his, is with the cigar. So Yusuf Kash, the photographer, he was hellbent that I wanted to shoot his picture without cigar. But how do you do that? Churchill is very moody person, a very angry person. So how do we convince him? So he tried to interact with Mr. Churchill, whatever few fraction of seconds, minutes he got. He make his entire setup ready and he requested Mr. Churchill. After he addressing the Canadian Parliament, there was a room which is blocked for use of cars. He made an entire setup there. He requested Mr. Churchill to sit there, and within a fraction of a second, he just flicked the cigar from his hand, and he gave a stern look to him, looking into the camera. That time, that very moment, he shot this picture, and this picture became an iconic picture used on the pound currency in the UK. I mean, if you see the archive or the pictures of the Churchill, you will see this picture everywhere. This is one of the iconic image of 20th century. The reason is you be a spontaneous when you shoot the picture. After this, I mean, you keep in mind that whatever you're shooting, you have to have get some details. This picture, what you see, is again by shot by Salagado when he was a visit on his tour visit to India in 89, 90. But he shot these pictures in the Dhanbad, Bihar state of the coal miners. The reason of showing you pictures for the details is if you see the workers' face, you can easily see the coal miner workers. Why? Because the face, entire face, the coal powder is strewn on their face, and only those eyelids, below the eyelids, the portion is little white, the lips are little white. The entire face is black. This is the coal powder. We try to get that detail. Again, this is also interrelated to the gravity of the situation. It shows the gravity, the situation, the condition where the workers work. So this is another beautiful example of detailing. The second picture of showing is shot by me. This is from the Sachin Tendulkar's farewell match. Those who are Tendulkar fan, cricket fan, they must be knowing that how iconic his speech was that time. But why we call Tendulkar a legend? Because he's always prepared, whether for his debut, for his inning, or even for his farewell speech, which was now everybody remembers, everybody knows his farewell speech. But for that farewell speech, when he left the hotel for the match that day in the morning, he prepared those pointers that what am I going to talk? What points am I going to talk? And he carried that point, that list in his pocket when he delivered that lecture. So I noticed that when he's giving that speech at the Wankhede Stadium, I shot that tight picture where he had mentioned about the photographers also. And he's such a humble gem of a person. There's one 13 point which shows that media and photography. So he actually mentioned those points that my inning is over kind of the person. The detailing where I meant to say this is the detailing. The readers, your viewers should get an idea what they are going to watch, what are they going to watch. So keep that in mind, detailing also of your subject who you're going to show. Last but not least, and the most important factor is the light. This is also again the part of the form, line, tone, texture, pattern, and the light. When you shoot your subjects, keep in mind your light. I mean, whichever light, you can always make a picture. There's nothing wrong in it. Each and every light is a good light to make a picture, depending on your subject or on the photographer, how he see it. The picture what you see it on a screen is by Joe McNally. Natural light, we all shoot pictures. We all like to shoot pictures. But when you are shooting in artificial light, using some external light source, Joe McNally is one of the finest photographers in the world. He's, I guess, a Nikon brand ambassador. And off-camera flash, off-camera lights, he used beautiful. This is one of the examples of the models he shot on a beach using the mirror reflection, which is actually difficult to get the details in a reflected image in a mirror. He used the external light beautifully to showcase his subject. So how cleverly you use external light, this is one of the examples. When you shoot people at work, you can always think of that. This is another picture of Indian photographer. His name is Abhijit Bhatlekar, the former photo editor of Mumbai newspaper. He shot Ravi Shetty. Ravi Shetty is is a farmer's leader, Mr. Shetty. Raju Shetty, not Ravi Shetty. Pardon, sorry for that. Raju Shetty is a farmer leader and he was always busy on the roll. He had given him just 5 minutes maximum. I will give 5 minutes, you shoot where you want. The team was there, Sangli or Satara, somewhere near the farm. So he requested him, if you can come near the farm, I would like to shoot your picture. Why here? Because he's a farmer's leader. So it always a good thing to have shoot the leader, which he's associated with. the cause he's associated with. And for this, he again used an external flash. If you see his portfolio, like his Flickr account, you will get to know he is also another finest photographer who's using the strobe flash for his subject for the profile shoot. So when you use external light, this is another example which can be seen. Natural light, I'm saying, if you have very few time, this can connect the spontaneity also. This is shot by me. He is a renowned basketball coach, American basketball coach J.D. Watt. He was conducting the camp for underprivileged kids in South Bombay. I was working with the Times of India then, and I was in a hurry that time. I had another shoot which is lined up after this, and I really have some time. So this camp was going on for an hour, but I literally have 5 to 7 minutes in time. Don't know what to shoot, so you see the light. There's a bright light on the wall, which can make your subject in a foreground a beautiful silhouette. Thought of that and shot this picture, and this really worked well. So how you use light, how you think of a light in your frame, that also keep in mind when you approach your subject, people at work, that your frame may be beautiful. You can always think of that. This is the reason to show this picture. You can go to the next. The technologies keep changing when over the period of years, especially in photography, in mobile, smartphone photography, everything. I mean, after every 6, 7 months, we'll find a new model in a product. The picture, what you see here on the screen, is shot by Eric Willig. He is a National Geographic photographer. The picture he shot is a honey hunter in 1987 on the high ranges of Himalayan in Nepal. There are honey hunters in Nepal. It's a specific tribe. They collect honey, and they're based in the remote region, Himalaya. Eric Willig specialized in that. He climbed up with his hunters on the mountain, and shot those pictures. God knows what efforts he had taken that time, but it's amazing, amazing images. That picture story on this honey hunter earned him a world press that time in 87. 30 years after, the pictures what you see on a screen is shot by Renzan Ostuk. Again, he's commissioned by the National Geographic. Same subject, he approached 30 years after. You can see the difference in the picture. The content are same. They are extracting the honey. But the photographer this time is in proper gear. You can Google out, you can search with his name, or you can see his Instagram account also. There's a 360-degree video which gives readers a real-time view of the subject. You can see actually the honeybees is hovering on the lenses on his face or the 360-degree view camera lens. The technology is also play a vital part. So if you are equipped with the latest technology, camera or the small equipment, you can make use of that when you approach your subject. This is just an off-the-track example which I wanted to give, how technology changes over the period of years to give readers a real-time view what the subject is all about. Friends, when you approach your subject, like what you say, the content is actually the key. What you wanted to show, what your subject is. So, I mean, point and shoot, I saw, I like it, I shot it fine. But then what you shot, what you wanted to shoot, if you have some little basic homework in your mind, if you prepare yourself lightly, to be a spontaneous, to be alert, if you understand the light, it will really help to improve your picture. The next step from the basic. I guess if this basic thing is to keep this mind, your pictures will work on it. The rest is up to you, how you think and how you shoot. I really wish you good best luck for the shoot.